Hello, namaskar. Good afternoon. It's around 5:30 p.m. now. It's Monday, the 28th of April, 27, sorry. I'm up at Sun Road here. People, it's a very tense day today. There's some mishap in the country, some aggravation. The poor, for we have the poor, the working class versus the upper class, and versus the middle class also. So some people are seeing what it is like when we have this kind of class struggle. Some people, they struggle. They want to come out from the lowest brackets of society, and at the same time they want to meet to the highest. That's the ambition of some people. They want this kind of thing that by hard work and struggle they kind of actualize themselves as being the president, the doctor, a lawyer, politician, a warrior, a sportsman. So all these things are the struggle and ideation of all three classes. Many upper class, they go down in the lower class. Many of the middle class, they go down. Many upper class, they marry into the upper class. Look, many of the working, struggling class, the laborer class, they marry into the upper class, marry into the middle class. So we have class struggle, and people are moving from one strata to another. Some people, by force of nature, by force of circumstances, they find themselves in social juxtapositions and adverse situations. But in many cases, there are helping hands and people, groups and organizations that help the poor, the struggling, the homeless and so on. So this kind of fight seems like a part of human existence. The struggle, the fight, the battle, the battle for betterment, for peace, for upliftment. So when you meet from one stage to another, you're not satisfied. You're still struggling for more and more. For example, look at the election. Election is coming up now, and his election is historically in this country another social we should say social disgrace, a social embarrassment for not only the Guyanese but for the political field that lacks the vigor and lacks the know-how of creating a proper system that will ensure smooth and free flow of voting and the electoral process. So what we have happening is squabbles and tumbles, misunderstandings and exchanges of the most unspeakable sorts. So as a young people coming up, we wonder what the future holds for us. We will inherit this when it comes to the political system, the situation here. There seems to be a struggle to get into all of these technological parlances created by Europe here. Politics, medicine, law. I think there might have been primitive forms in other countries, like politics and laws in India since ancient time. The kings, the medieval kings. People borrow from each other, they study each other's culture, and what we have a distillate that is what we have today and what we have at the moment in the present times. So now the issue is how to solve this electoral process. Election is coming here in Guyana in November 2025. And we know what happens in the election. Previously, there used to be arson. People said burn the city. The last election, there was two chopping of policemen in Borbis. They were burning of tires and all these things and fighting resistance from the Indian population. They were even threatened that they were going to do what the British did to the Indians, put them under the firing squad. There was one of the talks. So now how did this election the electoral process is created by mankind to instill leaders and politicians, government, is defective. It has so much repercussions and adverse effect. Then scientists, political scientists have to devise other electoral processes to instill leaders, to you know ensure that there's transition and smooth flow of government, you know. And again, we must praise these ancient civilizations like the Hebrews, the Indians. They have an ancient culture dating back to the beginning of time, where people were struggling with virtues, virtuous living, godliness, holiness. If you read the book with the Hebrews, how they fought with the Egyptians and the Indians, also the Hindus, how they battle with the invasions and so on. People try to take away the culture and conquer them. And so we had a change of government through exchanges, embattlements, invasions, through political maneuvers, deceit and conning people, overthrow government through a coup. If they have a coup, they overthrow the government. And we have people are going to train in jungles and forests to become guerrilla fighters to overthrow and fight against the state. These become known as terrorists. If they are not registered as an official party, a political party, I think you have to pay a large amount of money to enter into the political race. Only rich people can do that. You have to get money to become a presidential candidate. You have to be a financially stable person, you know. So while we sitting, the ordinary people are sitting like sheep, like pawns, the gentle sheep, as gentle as a sheep, as pawns, as passive onlookers. There's movement in the technocratic machines pouring out electoral results, and the finale of voting, the scenario, you know. We have to endure this at this stage of our revolution. Let's hope that in the evolutionary process a new system will emerge, a better system of voting. For example, what about if we change election system? Because it's happening all over the world when there's election. You can see this in America, you see this in other countries. It's the same squabble and fight in India also. Congress party and the what do you call the Bharatiya party, right? There's so much fight between election that the slogan has been born that politics is a dirty game. You can't trust politicians. They say something, they do something else. Baba said the best class of person, another Guruji, Shanamurtiji, said the best class of person is one who thinks something, behavior is the same, and his action and what he speaks is the same. That will make you be great by your thoughts, by your action, and by your words. There should be synchrony in the three. You know, incidentally, to another Murtiji said that politicians, they are a form of tantrics also, because they fight a lot, and some fight for positive cases to take society in a positive direction, to do something good for society, and they fight against a lot of negativities. They travel, they over the mountains, they cross the sea, they fly over in the sky and the clouds, going from place to place. So it's tantric, there's movement, there's fight to have change, to have activity, you know. So Baba says politics is a form of tantra. Now I'm thinking maybe if we change electoral, here's a few of my suggestions. Maybe each person can have some chits, some voting cards, some voting chits. Let's say each person we've given 10, or they're given 50 or how much. Then the election commission in every neighborhood or every village will have boxes that you can go during the 5 years period and drop with your party of choice, you know. But this would have to be over 5 years. And we know elections, people enter into the race until at the end. So we have to know how to work it out. They drop the chit in during a period of 5 years, or 2 years, or 3 years. So you don't know. So when the results come out at the end of that 5 year, we'll have a choice. Another thing is to have a conclave like we have in the Pope. These will comprise of ethical leaders, clergymen, dignified people, people with outstanding record in their career, in their during their lifespan, you know. At the end of it, or if they are young geniuses and young people who are born with extraordinary ability, they can be given to be on the board of the conclave, and they can decide who they will choose as a party. These people will have rational mind and vigorative intellect and discrimination to choose. And at the end of that choice, they can blow the smoke up through the chimney and let the people know that the choice be made. Or another thing I was thinking, right? Another example I was thinking, like if we have this observer system coming in the country, and then we have our prominent people suggesting electorates or suggesting the winner of the election contest, then our observers can attest to the voice and the opinions, observers from around the world, especially for suspected country and sensitive cases. We can have these people, or we have representatives from the major religions deciding who they want to put in, with a few academics and intellectuals and so from the university, from organizations and other bodies and so. So maybe people have to come up with ideas how they can have a smooth election, a peaceful election that is coming up in November 2025. Hope it will be peaceful, you know. We want some of the principles we gotta look about. Who are the people that will bring peace? Who have a cultural repetition to bring quietude and progress, right? Maybe it's a blend, but which blend is the best? You gotta think. Which ratio, which proportion ratio is the best? You know? This is a testy time that is coming here. People tell when election come up, you hear things like, is the mother of election, is the father of election, is the elections of all elections. You know, these are kind of bleak promises of the future, you know, for our people, for the young youths. We don't know what tomorrow holds, but like Jesus said, let tomorrow take care of itself. Let the dead bury the dead. Some people go by the ideal, right? But still, in all my philosophy, our school, we say we have to make the effort. You take one step and God will make 20 steps. You put a little bit of effort and God can help you a lot more in return. No? So then again, as we look at the ethnic proportion of things, Guyana is slowly converging into a new ethnicity, you know. The people are blending and mixing more, you know. The effort to identify with motherlands like India, Africa, Europe, Mongolia is not perfect 100% or absolute, you know. You might get some inspiration, you might get some health and strength, but with this gladness about life comes the appreciation of each other, and the intermarriages it is even more increased. And this is even happening in those countries that are supposedly housing the root races: Mongolia, China, India, Africa. They are Europe, they are intermarrying also. So it's a global thing. We're having globalization, you know. So in this way, we have some consolidation about future elections. So we do not know what is the direction things going. Right now, they have a crisis in the country here, and we don't know if this will work out. The other incident in Chatomar got, I heard. So you see, things are popping up. They say it is because of election. Now these are all hints, signs, omens, destiny, you know. So in the meanwhile, I have a lot of my own to handle. I'm still waiting for my gratuity, my benefits from ministry, my gratuity, my pension. I'm still waiting for them. I haven't got no word. It will be soon be a month. I sent in an email to Ministry of Finance, to the contact there. I'm waiting for a reply. So I hope this is not another excuse that it's going towards that cause, that ultimate um, jump up, that ultimate extravaganza, human creation that human can't solve, you know. You know what Master Baba and Anandamurtiji said? He said, problems are created by demons in human form. They are experienced by humans in human form, and they are solved by gods in human form. Baba Nandamurti says, a fee 5-4 form, expel the demons from the physical stratum. Fee 5-4 form, expel the demons from the psychic stratum. Fee 5-4 form, expel the demon from the spiritual stratum. So we see Tantra has this thing to struggle, and so, you know. But on how much of us can go to the extremes end of it, we have to struggle within limits, within decency, within human ethics. Don't take ourselves to an extreme that will be detrimental to our race, our country, our home, our family, so on. They say God give rewards to those people who suffer and who endure, like the Jews. He promised them that the nation will rise up and the people will enjoy prosperity and glory. And we see what's happening now for those who follow the Jews and the Christianity, and so they are prosperous, they're successful, they're getting along, who follow God. And so what happened? People who go for enlightenment, they say it's the hardest thing, the tests and trials is the hardest thing to endure and to face. It's not easy. You know, they say if everybody could have become, if it was easy, everybody would have become enlightened. We'd have plenty of enlightened people. But because it's difficult things, you know, it's more hard to get, more difficult to ensnare enlightenment. So this is my few thoughts about election. I do hope we find an answer for the outdated, the obsolete electoral systems that we have, the dysfunctional, the problematic, the problem in the mechanism of the election. This seems to be faulty. We need spare parts. We need to upgrade in the mechanism. We need better functionality, you know. Maybe people can start voting online. Maybe they can start doing things through digital ways, and so you don't know. Namaskar and all the best. Happy Monday.